You have already data zen, right?
DataZen is another tool that we have, yes.
What is the difference between data zen?
DataZen came into our company based on a acquisition that we had. Initially, it was placed on small form factor devices, that is cell phones and handhelds and tablets.
Okay.
And it can also connect to SSRS and SSIS. So that area is being handled by DataZen mostly.
Okay.
But in the future, we want to merge both of these tracks together.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so I guess that is all there is to it. So I'll, again, my email ID, I think you know most of it. So if you have any questions or concerns on any of the analytics tool that you just saw, feel free to send me an email or feel free to follow me on Twitter, and we can actually connect up there. Okay, otherwise I'm just closing it. Thank you folks.
I'm on? Thanks. I know I'm the one who's standing between you all and lunch, but I'm going to take just 10 minutes of your time because there were two very critical, important things that Sanjeev had said today in the morning. One is he showed you the future of the way you're going to go ahead and work. And a lot of those are very much dependent upon the devices that you have today. So I was watching everyone in the room, and practically everyone out here. I don't think there's a single person out here who doesn't have a mobile phone. If you don't have a mobile phone, put your hand up. Okay, no hands over there. All right. How many have a tablet in the room? No tablet users? No iPads? I'm shocked. No Samsung devices? Okay. How many with Lenovo or Kindle readers around the place? Yeah, we have a Kindle reader here. One more Kindle reader behind there. Wonderful. Okay. All right. How many of you are with laptops? Practically everyone in the room, right? I've just called out 4 devices. Okay. Some of you all have 2 of them. Some of you all have 3 of them, depending upon what it is that you basically do with your life. So why do you have 3? Why is 1 not enough? Or why is 2 not enough? Can your phone do everything for you today? Sir, what do you do with your phone? You do everything with your phone. All right. So if you have to create a PowerPoint presentation because one of your bosses says, I need to do the strategy document, please present the strategy of your department for me today. Are you going to do that on your phone?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do
The whole entire presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
We can do, but it may not take some time.
It will take you some time. So how much time is it going to take you to do that? You have a timeline, right? Because your boss is going to tell you there's a timeline to it, right?
So, when all past and anything can't work on mobile.
Yes.
You have to have something like
You have to have something. You have to have something bigger. You're absolutely spot on. And that's what I'm coming to in terms of imagining devices. So my name is Charmaine Lewis Wali, and I basically run the devices business for Microsoft. And Microsoft, as you know, we've been doing a lot of great work from a devices standpoint. So we came out with the Lumia phones, we had the acquisition of Nokia. There were some things that we did very uniquely in the devices. And then we started to get into the hardware business. And so this is our product, which is basically called Surface Pro 4. It's the 4th edition of our Surface device. And this is the device that actually competes against the Apple MacBook and the iPad Pro. We've seen great successes with the device across the world. So what is the reason why we saw all these successes, right? And there were just 3 things. You use your phone to go ahead and make phone calls, you want to do quick browsing, you want to check emails quickly, maybe respond like 1-liner, 5-liner kind of emails, and you do that brilliantly well on the phone, right? It's a great communication tool. WhatsApp, Facebook, everything else is what you can do on the tool when you want to do quick checks in it. But when you want to start getting a little more productive, right? I can't watch a 4-hour movie on my phone. The size of the screen is just too tiny, right? And so then I want to look at moving on to a tablet because it's a bigger screen, looks a lot more better when I was trying to watch a movie for 4 hours or 5 hours, less strain on my eyes. But then after some time, you get that call from your boss, right, saying, please, PowerPoint presentation or give me the Word document strategy. And then what do? Then you've got to go to your laptop, right? And then you enjoy reading. So I had a couple of Kindle readers here in the room. You enjoy reading. And so when you want to read, then you take out that as a form factor and you go ahead and read. But if you look at essentially what you're doing across all these 4 form factors is you're reading, you're writing, and you're working. And so when we looked at how do we going to go ahead and design this device, we actually put the user in the center and said, hey, this device has to be able to let you do read, write, and work. Those are the 3 things that we wanted to go ahead and do. Now if you look at your mobile phones today or you look at your tablets today, they're all running with a mobile operating system, which essentially means that when I come into my office, I can't use the same device in my office to go ahead and access all my enterprise applications, because the 2 operating systems are completely different from each other. I either have to look at rewriting all my enterprise applications to run on top of a mobile operating system, which is going to cost me a lot of money. And everything from a mobile operating system standpoint is really designed for touch. It's not really designed for keyboard and mouse, which are sometimes critical inputs that you need with regard to keyboard and mouse. So let's take, for example, a PowerPoint presentation, right? In a PowerPoint presentation, what do? You've got to drag objects from here to there. You're going to be doing a lot of typing in terms of your text. Can that on-screen keyboard that you currently have on your tablet or on your mobile phone help you do that effectively? The answer is no, because you spend time searching for alphabets on the keyboard. You spend time searching for where is Control C, Control V, right? There are all of those things that come into play. And that's the reason why we went ahead and we designed this device. So this device just weighs 786 grams. It's a tablet that can be used as a laptop as well as your tablet. So from 4 devices that people were carrying, some of you were carrying, I've now brought it down to essentially 2 devices, which is your phone, and then this is the other form factor. Now the reason why I'm saying that we can't do away with the phone is because you've got voice, you've got a whole bunch of other things that are there, and it fits in your pocket very well. This may not necessarily fit in your pocket all the time. So when you're out shopping, you don't need to carry this with you, just carry your phone with you, right? So you'll always have 2 form factors, and that's what our vision is all about. So I'm going to lock my device and I'm going to show you a couple of things that we designed specifically from a security perspective. Because all of you are government people out here, you're all very, very worried about your data. Anyone here in the room not worried about their data? Everyone worried about their data? Yes. Awesome. So if you can see my tablet, it's basically saying looking for me, right? Can you see that here? And it's already found me. So I've got an infrared camera here in my device, and my infrared camera basically recognizes a 3D model of my face. So the very first time when I went ahead and set up my device, it created a 3D model of me, and only when it sees my face will my device unlock. Now, why did we do this? From a Microsoft standpoint, why did we go ahead and do this? The reason is because all of us like to access a whole bunch of personal websites. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Vine, all of those are there, right? And for each of those internet sites, we've got to create a user ID and a password. And when you create a user ID and a password, and we're all human, right? I have only this much amount of memory. So what's the easiest thing for me to go ahead and remember? I remember my company's credentials, and I will try to create a user ID and a password which is very, very close to my company credentials. But what happens when I do that? Okay, when I do that, if there's a hacker who's been able to get onto my personal sites, he's just 3 to 4 steps away from getting into my company website. And that's the reason why we said biometrics is the new form of authentication, and this becomes a lot more secure because you're first authenticating yourself against the device, and then you're actually able to go ahead and access other applications in the background. So you no longer have to remember user IDs and passwords. It's just that your physical recognition, either of your face, your fingerprint, that's the form of authentication that all organizations are moving towards. And if you saw it, it actually recognized me in, it's done that in less than a second, right? It just saw me, it opened up the device immediately. And it's a very, very smooth experience because now I'm no longer sitting and typing user IDs and passwords, right? Very, very smooth experience. So the next thing I want you to look at is the display. Now the display is something which is really crisp and very, very clear. And we've spent a lot of engineering time and effort in terms of the display. So it's a 5 million pixel display. It actually defeats the Apple Retina display. So why did we spend so much time on display? Because one of the things that we do is reading. And we wanted you to get the best quality of reading that is available today. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open an app, and this is my Kindle app. Give it a few seconds to pop up because the internet is a little slow out here, but yeah, it's going to come up soon. So can you see the fonts? The fonts are extremely crisp and they're very, very clear. And I get a 2-page view, and if I turn the device around, I actually get a single page view. Now for those people who are Kindle readers in the room, and I'm a Kindle reader myself, I prefer this to the Kindle reader. The simple reason is, if you're a fast reader, you have to keep on doing this on the Kindle, because there are only this many lines that you can go ahead and get in the Kindle reader. And so for fast readers like me, the screen plays a lot more better as compared to the other screens. My eye strain is also significantly reduced because there's special technology that Microsoft has used in the display, which actually reduces the glare significantly, and therefore you can actually read for long hours on this kind of a device. So that's the reading capability on the device. Then the device is a little bit intelligent. You saw Arnab talking about machine learning and everything else. So I've got Cortana, and he's touched a little bit about Cortana analytics. So I've got Cortana on my device, and I'm going to activate Cortana, basically utilizing my pen. So here we go. Open movies and TV.
Opening movies and TV.
So again, what you see is she does it very, very spontaneously. She's picked up my sound in this big, huge room. And here's my display, and now I'm playing the movie out here, right? And again, people at the back of the room, can you hear the sound? I don't have a speaker attached to this. I've got nothing here, it's just my mic which I have here on me. But the crispness of the sound is what you're able to get primarily because my speakers are all front-facing. So think about the times when you're on your laptop and you're trying to do an audio-video call. And essentially what happens during that audio-video call, right? You either can't hear the person on the other side, or you necessarily have to go ahead and wear a headset. But because I've got mic arrays which are here both in the front as well as behind, and I've got wonderful speakers which are basically projecting out, the crispness of sound is extremely, extremely clear on the device, right? And that's taking your working to a different level altogether in terms of productivity. The third area that I wanted to talk about is working, right? So I told you mobile operating system, you can't run your enterprise applications on it. This operating system of ours which we are running over here is the Windows 10 professional operating system. It's a full-fledged Windows operating system. It's not a mobile OS. And because of that, you can run all your enterprise applications. Anything that you're running on Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, anything which is IE 9 and above, all of those applications will run on the device. So you can have both your entertainment apps, your games, Candy Crush, whatever it is that you do while you're relaxing at home, or whatever enterprise applications you want, all of your applications can go ahead and run on this device, right? So I've got Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything running on top of this device. I have my SAP applications also running on this device. There are GIS applications, Power BI, right? He showed you Power BI. I've got Power BI of mine also running on this device. All of the applications work. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is writing, right? So, a lot of people, all of you have noticed with pen and paper, you're all carrying diaries around the place. So why do you carry the diary? You basically carry it to make notes. Sometimes it's a creative idea that strikes you, and you want to make a note of that particular idea. So how easy is it to get to that? So this is what my device can go ahead and do. I'm using my pen again. I'm going to click it, one single click. I've opened up OneNote, which is an application. It's a note-taking application of Microsoft. Couple of things that I've done here on OneNote. And if you can zoom the camera in, can you zoom in? So a couple of things that I've done here, right? Very simple Government of Gujarat logo. I've created over here as my template. So I've made this as my page template. This is my heading for the day, because that's the event that we are all about. And now I'm going to start taking notes, right? So I'm going to write my name out here. And as you see me writing my name, okay, you can see it's extremely fluid. It's just like the way a ballpoint flows out ink on a piece of paper. That's exactly the way I'm writing out here on the device. So now this becomes your new form of note taking, and these notes stay perpetually with you. Because tomorrow you can lose your diary, right? You can lose your diary or you misplace it somewhere, all of those can happen. But for me, this is all being stored on the cloud. So if it's being stored on the cloud, it's available to me anywhere from any device of mine. So I can create the OneNote here, and if you have a Samsung device, the gentleman with the beard, if you have a Samsung device or a Lenovo phone, you would actually be able to see a OneNote. Whatever I have done in ink over here, you would actually be able to see it on your device there. So the OneNote capability cuts across multiple application platforms, whether it be iOS or whether it be Windows or Android, but essentially the creativity stays there with you. Your notes are all staying in one single place. So when your boss asks you as to, hey, what happened the other day during that meeting, did you finish this? You can immediately go back to your notes and refer as to whether you've done it or not, right? So that's the power of the device when it comes to note taking. Now, I didn't really like the way I wrote my name over there, right? And so, if you were on pen and paper, you do a cancellation. And what I have here on my pen is this. There's a little eraser that I have at the back of my pen, so I use the back of my pen as an eraser, and I just go ahead and clean everything off. Right? So, this is some of the technology. Now, why did we invest in the pen? We invested in the pen for the simple fact is, today note-taking and digital ink are some of the things that you do very naturally. Think about yourself when you were a child, right? What was the first thing that you did when you were a child? You saw a pen, you saw paper around the place, you saw your walls around the place, crayons, picked that up and you went and you scribbled everywhere around the place. So that's a very natural way of doing things. Keyboard and mouse are all acquired inputs. It's an acquired skill. Ink is something which comes very, very naturally to you. And that's the reason why we went ahead and we built ink into our device, specifically because we want to encourage natural user interfaces. We don't want to make it difficult for people to use a device. We don't want you to necessarily have a computer skill to use a device. You should be able to use a device in the most natural and effective manner. And that's what we've gone ahead and done over here. So you can customize templates utilizing OneNote, and I think the team would already have had an Office 365 discussion with you. Make all your notes over here. And the best part is, right from here itself, so I'm going to go to File, and I can say Send, oops, sorry, I'm going to Send, and I can email my notes out right away to anyone who I have to email out to. I can send it as a blog, I can send it as a Word, I can send it as a PDF document. So think about the times you go for meetings, right? All of you all attend meetings. You'll all make notes in your diary with the meetings, and you come back to your laptop and you retype everything all out again. So you're doing data entry twice. With this, you will actually do your data entry only once. You'll actually get time back to yourself because you no longer have to type out things all over again, and your work is very easy and crispy done. Now, another feature that I wanted to show you is, this is part of the Microsoft Edge browser. So with the Edge browser, what I can go and do is, I'm going to open up this browser. So there's some news. And the headlines basically out here say, and there's a heat wave going on out here in Ahmedabad. And I want to share this, right? So what will you normally do? You go, you put your cursor over here, you drag, do the entire selection, then you'll do Control-C, then you will go open your email application, do Control-V, and then you will go ahead and send it out to whoever it is, and you'll write one small note over there on top of that, right? About 4 to 5 steps you have taken in that entire process. But what I will do over here with Edge as a browser is I have ink as a capability, so I'm going to get to inking. And so here's my pen, and I'm going to say, circle this. I'm just writing there, wow. Okay. Then I want to draw the attention to the headline, so I'm using a highlighter. And then all I'm going to do is say share. And when I say share, all the various applications come up who I want to go ahead and share it with. So my annotations, which have the highlighter plus whatever it is that I've written, essentially go ahead and get sent on mail, or I can send it to Facebook, or I can send it to a file. I can do whatever it is that I want to with all the apps. So from 5 steps that you did earlier, I've now brought you down to 2 simple, very simple little steps that are there in the book.